Hello. So far we have seen what it is to do systems thinking for data science and also seen a few roles that are common in data science, especially in the practical industry setting. Let us now go and understand more what the processes involved are. So engineering systems for data science involves two components. One, which is the process part, and two, which is the programming part. So if you want to become a good data engineer, it is not only enough to understand what the programming languages and how you use that, but really what is the broader process and how what you are doing fits into that process. So if you zoom into the process itself, there are typically two components. Process is a flow of steps. We do step 1, then we do step 2. If something doesn't go well, we come back to step 1. That is typically the flow of steps. And it also involves agile improvement. Agile improvement is a very commonly used idea in software engineering, where the idea is you try to build small things and you keep improving them in loops. As this diagram shows, you try something out, then you iterate on it and improve it and so on. So these two ideas combine: one, what are the steps I take, and two, in each step, how can I make it improve in an agile way. These two form the key to understanding the process part of data science. And what I'm going to do over the next 10-15 minutes is try to give an example process that one can follow for data science. This process is called CRISP-DM. It was proposed by an academic project coming out of the European Union and remains one of the most influential works in trying to see how to define a formal process for data science. Alright, so this is firstly, as I said, an issue of finding out what the steps are and then improving them in an agile way. So let me first explain to you what these steps are. Clearly, data science requires data that remains at the heart of this process. After that, the first important step is business understanding. One needs to understand what is the context you are working in and be able to specify the business problems you are trying to solve. That is step 1. Step 2 is data understanding, where one tries to understand what data we have, what does it represent, can it solve my business objectives, and so on and so forth. As you can see here, the interaction between these two steps is shown by a bidirectional arrow. Already at this step, when a business person says, hey, I have this problem to solve, how do I do it? And then a data engineer says, we have this data, and tries to provide some justification that it can actually solve that problem. In this process itself, back and forth happens. The question gets innovated upon, it gets improved upon, and new data is also being searched for. So these two steps itself are iterative. Then the third step is data preparation, where the data that you have needs to be prepared for it to be ready to do some statistical analysis afterwards. We will zoom into each of these steps and see what it entails. Then we have data modeling, which is where the core statistical ideas that you are learning come into play. How do I model data? How do I analyze my hypotheses are correct, and so on and so forth. Already again, you have a bidirectional arrow between these two steps. Typically, a model is tried out. You might find that this model is not good enough. Maybe it needs some more data, or maybe it needs a different kind of data. You need to go back to data preparation, and so on and so forth. That is step 4. Step 5 is evaluation. After you have the modeling done, you need to evaluate it. There are multiple criteria, only one of which is the accuracy of the model. And depending on how that evaluation went, you can either deploy the system for real use case by users, or you may go back to the drawing board, so to speak, and ask again the question, should I look at different business problems, or should I look at different ways of solving those problems? So in a sense, this is the idea. So you start off with business understanding, then data understanding, prepare data, model data, evaluate it, and then deploy it. And at times, this entire process might not work, and you go back to the drawing board. It's important to see that this entire process is iterative. It usually does not happen that in one flow of steps, you solve a problem. Usually a problem is specified and it takes a couple of months to solve it, but at the end of it you may realize that one needs to look at it slightly differently, and this entire process iteratively continues. So this is in essence what the CRISP-DM model is. What we will do now is zoom into individual points and see what that entails. Now keep in mind the notion of agile development. When we take one of these steps, let's say business understanding, what is the first thing I do? what is the next thing I do to iteratively improve on that is what we will look at now. So let's start with this one, business understanding. The first thing really is, what are the business objectives? What am I trying to optimize? Am I trying to optimize revenue, the customer satisfaction, the improvement of performance of my team, the health of my patients? These objectives need to be clearly established. Though it might seem very trivial, often this is not captured in a systematic way and leads to a lot of confusion later on. The next question is, can data science actually achieve these objectives? There is a lot of hype about data science, AI and so on, and some people believe that data science is a solution for many problems. It turns out that in some situations data science can do nothing else but just reveal some of the existing problems in the organization which need to be solved elsewhere. So it's very important to ask the question, is data science the right way to solve, to address these objectives? The next thing is, how do we define success metrics? Typically, an organization starts a project on data science. It can take several months. It is very important at the outset to define what it means to be successful. Only then these metrics can be made robust, and all choices that need to be made around the modeling part, the data collection part, etc. can be made based on improving this metric. Again, this seems very trivial to say here, but most organizations don't specify formally what the metrics of success are. The next thing, and becoming increasingly important now, is to understand if there are ethical considerations in data usage. Data is available in plenty, but some data might have privacy considerations, some data legally cannot be used for some projects. All these need to be carefully vetted out. In fact, in most universities, when we do research in data science, there is typically an ethics committee which needs to be convinced that a new project does not lead to any violations of privacy or legal considerations. The next step is to go and look outside and see what people have done already in this area. Data science is becoming explosively popular in different domains. So it pays to actually go and see if there is some existing work, maybe in the research domain, maybe in the business consulting world, where a particular competitor or another industry altogether has applied data to solve such problems. This again is something that seems very obvious to do, but most organizations do not do a good job of looking at what already exists. This is typically in the research domain called finding out what is the state of the art, or SOTA. Establishing SOTA is very important before we start a project. So again, these are the 5 steps which are done iteratively within the step of business understanding. This is where agile development comes in. Typically, a project must be started out, and then you start point 1, which is to identify the objectives. Slowly, you have to refine them to look at how to achieve them, whether data science is the right tool, how to define metrics. These are refinements on the initial problem itself. We will then, in the next video, look at similar such refinements for the remaining 5 steps.